I'm probably not the first, and I'm probably going to be not the last creator you'll probably hear about Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. And just like Nate Robinson, Ben got knocked out, which was a little surprising. I didn't think that Ben was going to get knocked out. But something was quite interesting was the whole fact that Ben, after him getting knocked out, got back up. But the referee said he couldn't continue the battle, continue the boxing match, so they called it as a Jake Paul win. Which, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like if Ben feels like he's able to continue, then he should be able to continue. You can't just cancel that off. But, I mean, congratulations, you piece of shit. Jake won. He has more wins than KSI. In fact, he has more boxing matches than KSI, which I didn't expect that, but you know, who would have ever thought Jake Paul's hardest opponent was Deji? Not just that, Dana White, the owner of the UFC, bet $1 to $2 million that Jake Paul will lose. Well, he lost, that's for sure. But Jake actually looked very comfortable when he was boxing. He didn't look like he was panicking too much. He actually looked pretty good. But this brings up the big question now. Is it time for KSI versus Jake Paul? You all want to know. When will this boxing match ever happen? Not for a while. And let me explain why this won't happen for a bit. For starters, KSI has basically stated when he will have his next boxing match, which will basically be after the pandemic and after he does more music. Which, one, pandemic makes a lot of sense. Because he wants to see people, he wants people to see him knocking out Jake Paul. Well, that's what he believes. And number two, he's an artist. When first comes to shove, KSI is an artist. I mean, he's mainstream. He's the closest mainstream rapper or just any musician that came from YouTube that wasn't like Justin Bieber, right? No, KSI had to build himself up to do it, but I don't think KSI will fight Jake Paul. And even then, when Jake Paul was asked, he didn't really want to talk about it. So that either means, one, they're in negotiations, or two, Jake Paul no longer wants to fight KSI, despite KSI talking about his reasons. And they are valid reasons. The first one is, the second one, I mean, that's just your preference. But KSI versus Jake Paul probably won't happen for, I would say, a couple more years. But Jay actually looked very confident against Ben. And so with that out of the way, there's nothing else for me to say. Jake, for the fucking douchebag he is, he battled very well. He did a good job. Ben, quite disappointed. I expected a better fight. Maybe even a longer. But if Jake Paul can knock actual UFC fighters out, then if I'm KSI, I don't want to challenge him yet. I would train, and when I mean train, I mean I would train before negotiations happens, and then it gets announced, and then they train. No. I would do what Jake Paul does, which is basically, even when he doesn't have any boxing events happening, he would still train. Which is something Jake has said on Impulsive. So, yeah, if I'm JJ, a little concerned. But if I'm Jake Paul, you better, and I mean better, use the hype you have for its full advantage and use it wisely. Because if you don't, then holy shit, you are gonna flop. But that's all I gotta say. Idiot's opinion out, and yeah, that's all I gotta say about this.